Well, hey guys, this is Gavin Katurba from Midwest Whitetail. It's early summer here in Iowa, and we're getting ready to start scouting a lot more for this upcoming season, and I'm sure you guys are going to be doing the same. Thought I'd take a quick second and talk to you about the basics of oak trees. It's one of the biggest things that I look for when I'm out scouting. They can pay off in a lot of different ways, and so having a little bit of knowledge about them can go a long way. One of the most basic things about oaks is there's two main different types. There's white oaks and there's red oaks. And you can easily tell the difference between them because white oaks on their leaves generally will have more rounded lobes, or the ends of the leaves, as opposed to red oaks will have more pointed ends. And so you can, like I said, most of the time pretty easily distinguish between them. There's many different varieties of each, but those are the two main ones that you're going to see out in the woods for the most part. When it comes to acorns, white oaks by far more preferred by deer. They have a lot less tannic acid in them, which essentially is an acidic compound that basically makes them less sweet, less palatable for the deer. And so, like I said, the white oaks are by far their favorites. A lot of times they'll eat the white oaks as soon as they drop, and then later on in the season when they don't have quite as much food, they'll go more to the black oaks, the red oaks, and finish those off. Acorns are a favorite food of deer, not only because they taste good, but also because they're very high in nutritional value. They have lots of fats and carbohydrates as well as protein, and they're also very high in vitamins and minerals that are essential to deer health. When it comes to the amount of acorns that oak trees will produce any given year, it largely will depend on the amount of moisture that you've had that season. Generally, when it's a more dry year, they're going to produce a lot more. And they say that that's largely a survival mechanism by the oak trees to produce more fruit on a drier year where things might not be going as well for the tree. And so a lot of times, like I said, during those drier years, you're going to see a lot more acorns. Now, they don't produce those bumper crops every single year. A lot of times it's every other year, every 2 years, or every even 3 years. And so especially if you have a spot that you like to hunt year after year, it's good to take note of how the acorns do each year, and you can almost time up when the best years are going to be for that tree. A lot of times if you have, say, a specific white oak flat, there's going to be a cluster or a single tree even that's going to produce that bumper crop of acorns. And a lot of times you'll see in that early time of year when they're all dropping, all the deer, all the turkeys, all the wildlife in general will flock to that specific tree, and you can take note of that as you get out and scout a little bit later into the month and see which trees have most of the acorns on them, and obviously take advantage of that. Those can be little food plots almost that can pay off big time earlier on in the season. Not only are oaks important to take note of because of the food source aspect, but they're also great spots to hang a stand in. You know, a lot of times later on in the season, the only trees with leaves still on them are your oak trees, especially pin oaks. Those can be great spots to hang a stand. Certain types of oaks, like your shingle oaks and your pin oaks, they'll have a lot more branches on them, and so they provide a lot more cover along with the leaves that are still on there later on into the season, especially in November when you're hunting funnels and in the timber and things like that. Like I said, a little bit of knowledge goes a long way, so I hope you guys got a little bit of knowledge out of this. These are just some of the basics, so it may not be a bad idea to get online, check out some articles about acorns, and learn a little bit more about them because they can be super beneficial in a lot of different ways. Season's right around the corner. I'm super excited about it, as I'm sure most of you guys are. Get out there, do some scouting, and pay attention to some of these things, and they may pay off big time for you next fall.